Oh, the intro's gonna get old. I'm kidding. But other than that, we're gonna go into a decline of WWE promos. Now, if you guys have not watched the TV show, I mean, it's kind of obvious. Thanks, Roger spiked to another 1.4. That hasn't been done in like probably a month or two. So now it's inconsistently spiking over into the down low ratings that we haven't been seeing since the mid 90s, probably worse. Some of it has to go into the structure, the matches, the quality, and the overall promos of the WWE wrestlers. That could be presumptively done backstage because, of course, Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown has a promptly more scripted basis where they have like double-digit writers on the clock, making sure that most of these guys come from the indies, so promptly never worked on promo work that consistently, especially bringing on a prime live audience where a lot more people want to know who you are. So having a promo does a lot to explain the situation, does a lot to expand your character, kind of branches out who you are, and as well, you know, gets the fans hyped or entertained in groups of a segment or a future match or segment going on later in the show or pay per view or an event. That's what I feel like the importance of promos have been, and what made me had one of my favorite wrestlers have some of my favorite wrestlers, like guys that are good with promos like Triple H, Chris Jericho, Edge, John Cena, Undertaker, Kane, like and Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle, like a bunch of guys that could promptly speak over in the mic, have their own definitive voice. The way they speak on their voice, the way they behave, and it goes into their personality, and it hypes over the match. It sells them over who they are, and it makes sure that they're a big deal. That's what I feel like WWE is promptly dismaying because now everybody just has a minute character and it doesn't sell over to hype up a match. These guys are just wrestlers, so baby faces are happy to be there. They do it for the fans. They'll say whatever uh, is constructively monotone. Say like, well, they'll kick your ass, show a bit of edge, cuss once. We're getting ready for the pay per view. While the heels have a lot more promptly to say, they get more work shoot promos. They're trying to concisely think, oh, because you're a heel, mean you can't get over. The only way you can get over is being a heel. Even though it's been fact that even being a babyface, gives you more benefits with getting over with the fans, constructing more of a personality, getting more favoritism, and being a borderline draw. And I feel like most of WWE is concisely thinking that writing over these scripts are working. It's not helping. Nikki Cross is terrible. Drew McIntyre is a great wrestler, but I feel like he gets consistently more dull, especially when he's babyface, where he doesn't show that much of an aggression like he was when he was a heel. He doesn't show that much of personality other than I'm the sexy Scotsman. I'm Scottish. I come with my sword. Like he just acts so degradingly dull at times. Even when he does pull off good stuff in the show, I feel like most of these promos are completely etching out and making most of the stars look more robotic, and it's just not expanding most of their character depth. It's always WWE face promo, WWE heel promo, and it's nearly the same thing you've heard nearly every episode of Raw. I'm gonna be a fighting champion. That thanks on the baby. That means I'm gonna defend the title whenever everybody say they are. Nobody has their own way they go about whenever they win the world title. Nobody has a certain portrayal of who they want to wrestle. Nobody has it's either their face or heel, and they just have their own little quirk. It's not a gimmick anymore. It's just a quirk. It doesn't feel like an interesting character, and that's why they always gotta go over to guys like Edge. Edge is pushing 50, and he's still working over one of the best promos of the year. That cannot be an excuse. That should be inspiring most of the main roster to be like, we can do stuff like this. We gotta make sure that we're the draws because we're consistently more on TV. So we have to make sure that we build over to have the same level as Edge. Nobody seems to be thinking that way, and I feel like everybody has this way of thinking because they always want to have this little concise ego, all because I wrestled more in the indies, or because I have this level on the WWE main roster, means I'm better than the Hall of Famer. No, you're not. That's why people ask for these Hall of Famers more than they ask for the actual stars. And whenever they do get the stars they want, it's always the same dull, concise promo. Jinder Mahal. The only people that I see that go and use something that's crap but turn it into gold is probably Rick Boogs, Elias, but he's getting jobbed out. Drew McIntyre sometimes. Roman Reigns in a good SmackDown, just over the sense of they have their own persona, they have the way that they speak with their voice, and they have their own gimmick. Even Big E, I feel like he's the most charismatic of the New Day, but he's just laid out with just still doing the same New Day shtick, being like, "Whoa, I'm still Dutty Watney in the ring." Like, no, you don't do that. I feel like what you need for your own promo is your own voice. You need your own constructive voice that feel like people need to mimic you. The same thing with Hogan. People mimic The Rock. People mimic John Cena. Playingly, even though he's not the best. Triple H. Like, people know how those guys sound. No, the problem with the current roster is the way they sound. It sounds either dull, monotone, or just so generically robotic, or so stupidly insensitively stereotypical that it just comes out looking like I can just see a guy come next year and he's gonna have the same voices, uh, Charlotte Flair, the same voice as Rhea Ripley, the same voice as Nikki Cross, probably the same voice as Sheamus, probably the same voice as Bobby Lashley. Everybody just sounds the same. It goes the same way with 50-50 booking because WWE thinks everybody's on the same level. And it's so sad. So that's literally my thought over like the decline of promos in the WWE. Do I feel like it can get better? It can, and I don't know. I'm not going to be fantasy booking. I'm just saying that there's a possibility. You take it like you can, just lessen the writing team. Just get guys that like get guys back over to the fray like Paul Heyman that can do work shoots. Get guys like Vince Russo that mixes in a bit of entertainment with reality, but he did it in ways that were either on and off or but can click well. So just get guys like that can mix over they can mix their own realistic personality with their own persona, and they just fuse it in with the promos, and then maybe for some of the main roster they can get more over. I'm just putting over like suggestions here because if I have to listen to a Damian Priest promo, I will literally rip off my ear. So that's literally a suggestion there, and that's just my opinion. Thanks for watching. That's it from me. I guess there's videos near the end of this if you want to select my most popular, if you want to get how I do things, or at least my more recent uploads to see my opinion there. Thanks for watching, everybody.